Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep on vampires,
Ooh, fun.
but not like the sparkly kind or anything like that. We're looking at
Right.
a whole bunch of historical accounts and journals and stuff. They suggest there's like a whole vampire society.
Yeah, it's wild. There's laws and like power struggles and
Wait, hold on. Like vampire politics?
Oh, yeah, big time. Like there are these two main groups, the Camarilla and
Okay, I've heard of those,
yeah.
but I don't really know anything about them.
Well, the Camarilla, they're all about order, keeping things quiet.
Yeah.
You know, they enforce this thing called the Masquerade.
The what?
The Masquerade. It's like a super strict code of secrecy, keeps humans from finding out about them.
So like they want to blend in.
Exactly. They're playing the long game. Think of them as like the establishment, the ones who want to keep things as they are.
Okay, I got it. So what about the other group, Sabbath? Those guys sound a little more
Intense?
intense.
Yeah, they're the rebels. They think hiding is for cowards. They say embrace the monster. You know, vampires are predators and they're not afraid to show it.
Oh, wow. So is it like a vampire civil war? Are they always fighting?
Not always. It's more complicated than that. Not all vampires are part of either group. Some are just out there doing their own thing. They're called a Tarkus.
A Tarkus, so like vampire independence.
You got it. They
Yeah.
don't play by anyone's rules.
Wow, this is already more than I expected. Okay, so back to the Camarilla for a sec. How's their society work? Do they have like a king or something?
It's not quite a kingdom, more like a bunch of little city-states. Each city has a prince. That's the top vampire in charge. But they don't rule alone. There's a council of elders called the Primogen.
Primogen, so like vampire advisors.
Kinda, but it's more than just giving advice. They actually represent the major vampire clans.
Clans. Hold up. We're like vampire families?
Yeah, you could say that each clan is descended from an ancient vampire, a progenitor, and they pass down their traits and powers to their kids.
Whoa, so it's like vampire genealogy. This is getting good. Tell me more about these clans. What are they like?
Each clan is unique. They have their own specialties and reputations. Like take the Tremere, for example.
The who?
The Tremere. They're shrouded in mystery, known for their mastery of blood magic. Some even say they were mortal wizards before they were vampires.
Whoa, wait, wizards who turned into vampires. Okay, that's pretty badass.
Right, and then there's the followers of Set. They're also known as Setites.
Okay, Setface, what are they all about?
Picture the serpent-like vampires, ancient rituals, dark secrets. They worship a god named Set. Even other vampires are kind of creeped out by them.
I bet. They sound like trouble.
Oh, they are super cunning and manipulative,
Yeah.
really good at corrupting people to their side.
Yikes. Okay, so we've got blood magic and serpent gods. What other kinds of clans are out there?
Well, there's the Bruja. They're all about passion and rebellion. But they're also known for being pretty violent.
Like the punks of the vampire world.
Yeah, something like that. They like to stir up trouble. Always challenging the status quo.
Sounds like they'd be fun at a party. Until they weren't. What else?
Oh, and then there's the Malkavians. They're a little different.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Something about being crazy, right?
Yeah, every Malkavian is touched by madness. A different kind for each of them. It shapes how they see the world and how they act.
So they're the wild cards. Totally unpredictable.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Some people think their madness gives them special insights. Like they can see truths that other vampires miss.
Wow, that's both fascinating and terrifying. Okay, so far we've got powerful wizards, serpent worshippers, rebels, and mad prophets. Anyone else I should know about?
Oh yeah, there's the Toreador clan. They're all about art and beauty. Even though they're undead, they still appreciate the finer things.
Really, vampire art critics? That's kind of funny.
It is. But they're not all sunshine and roses. There's a dark side to them too. They can be pretty cruel and decadent.
It seems like all these clans have this weird double nature, like they're both human and monster at the same time.
You're getting it. That struggle is at the heart of being a vampire, trying to hold on to your humanity while also dealing with this monstrous hunger.
Man, that's got to be tough. Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
We've got these ancient bloodlines with supernatural powers. They're all part of this secret society, and they're constantly battling their inner demons. Did I miss anything?
Oh, we've only just scratched the surface. We haven't even talked about the Anarchs yet. They're the vampires who reject both the Camarilla and the Sabbat. And then there are the dangers lurking in the shadows. Hunters, ghouls. Even rumors of even older and more powerful beings.
Okay, I think I need a minute to process all of this. This is a lot to take in.
I hear you.
But don't worry, listeners. We'll be right back to delve even deeper into this world of vampires.
All right, so before we get too deep into all these groups and clans,
Yeah.
let's talk about what every vampire has in common.
Okay?
Their powers.
Now you're talking. We've heard a little about blood magic.
Right.
But what else is out there? What can these vamps do?
Well, they call them disciplines. They're like special abilities unique to each clan.
So like superpowers, but for vampires.
Exactly. And they get stronger the older a vampire gets, fueled by their blood.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me more. What kind of disciplines are there?
Well, like we talked about before, the Tremere, they're all about blood magic, or thaumaturgy as they call it.
Right.
It lets them do some pretty crazy stuff. They can manipulate blood, use it as a weapon even. But it's not just about power, it's about knowledge too. The Tremeres are always searching for forbidden lore, trying to unlock the secrets of vampirism itself.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is. And it's dangerous too. Knowledge is power, and in the wrong hands it can be devastating.
So they're like the scholars of the vampire world.
You could say that. But then you've got clans like the Assamites who are more about action than study.
Who are the Assamites again?
They're the assassins, known for their deadly skills. They can move like shadows, strike with incredible speed and precision.
It's like vampire ninjas.
Basically, they're silent but deadly.
That's terrifying. But what about the less fighty clans, like those Toreador? They're more into art and beauty, right? What kind of disciplines do they have?
Well, they actually use their artistic sensibilities to their advantage. Their discipline is called presence. It's like a supernatural charm or allure. They can use it to captivate and manipulate people, make them do what they want.
So they're like the ultimate influencers.
You got it. They
Yeah.
can make you feel things, see things, believe things, all with just a look or a touch.
Man, that's messed up.
Yeah.
But also kind of cool. What other disciplines are there?
Well, there's fortitude, which makes vampires incredibly tough to herd. The Ventru clan are known for this. They're like the vampire tanks. Super strong and resilient.
That makes sense. They're the leaders, right? Got to be able to take a hit.
Exactly. But remember, even with all these powers, vampires aren't invincible. They have weaknesses too.
Yeah, like sunlight. Everyone knows that one.
Right, sunlight is a big one. But there's another weakness that's even scarier because it comes from within.
Uh-oh, what is it?
Frenzy.
Frenzy.
Yeah, it's like this uncontrollable rage driven by their need for blood. Any vampire can fall into a frenzy, even the strongest ones. They lose all sense of self and become like wild animals.
So even with all their powers and control, they can still lose themselves to their baser instincts.
It's a constant struggle for them. Imagine this monster lurking inside you, always trying to break free. It takes a lot of discipline to keep it in check.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. How do they even cope with that?
Well, there are these things called paths of enlightenment. Think of them as philosophies or codes of conduct that help vampires deal with the moral and psychological challenges of being a vampire.
It's like a moral compass for the undead.
Kinda. Some paths embrace the monster within, encourage vampires to give in to their darker urges. Others focus on maintaining humanity, holding on to the remnants of their former lives.
So which path is the right one?
There is no right one. It's a personal choice. Each path offers a different way of navigating the darkness, but they all come with their own challenges and consequences.
Wow, okay. So we've got powerful clans, supernatural abilities, this constant battle for control.
Yeah.
And now philosophical dilemmas on top of it all.
It's a lot to handle, and we haven't even gotten to the really juicy stuff yet.
There's more?
Oh, yeah. Remember the Anarchs?
Rebels.
Yeah, we need to talk about them. They're a whole other layer of complexity to this world.
All right, so the Anarchs, they're like the rebels of the vampire world.
Right, exactly. They're the ones who say, screw the rules, we're doing things our own way.
But how do they actually survive? I mean, the Camarilla and the Sabbat, those are some powerful groups.
They're survivors, that's
Yeah.
for sure. The Anarchs are adaptable and resilient.
Okay, but what does that look like in practice? How do they operate?
Well, they don't have like a grand structure or a central leadership. It's more like a network. Lots of little cells spread out, each one with its own goals and its own way of doing things.
So they're decentralized, hard to pin down.
Exactly. They pop up where you least expect them, hit fast, and then disappear back into the shadows. Plus, they're not afraid to team up with anyone who shares their goals.
Even other supernaturals.
Sometimes, I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? If they're fighting for survival, they'll take help wherever they can find it. There are even accounts of Anarchs working with ghouls, those humans who get turned by vampires.
Whoa, wait, really? Vampires and ghouls teaming up? That's wild.
It happens, and it's not just ghouls either. There have been whispers of alliances with other creatures too, werewolves, mages, you name it. The Anarchs are all about breaking down barriers.
That's crazy. So the Anarchs are fighting the Camarilla the Sabbath, and now they have to deal with other supernaturals too.
It's a tough life being a rebel, and it's only gotten harder lately, especially with the arrival of the Cathayans.
So it ain't.
The Cathayans, vampires from the East, ancient and powerful, they've been shaking things up. No one really knows what their motives are, but they're a force to be reckoned with.
Man, the Anarchs really have their work cut out for them. What keeps them going? With all these challenges, why even bother fighting?
It's a good question. And I think the answer is different for every Anarch. Some are driven by ideals. They want to create a world where all vampires can be free. No more ancient traditions, no more tyrannical elders. Others are driven by revenge. They want to pay back those who have wronged them. And some are just in it for the thrill, the excitement of living outside the rules. It's a complex mix of motivations.
But can they actually succeed? I mean, can you really have a free and equal society of vampires? It seems like power and ambition are kind of baked into their nature.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Anarchs represent this spark of hope, this belief that things can be different. But they're also a reminder of how hard it is to fight for change, especially in a world as old and as rigid as vampire society.
It's inspiring and kind of tragic at the same time.
Yeah, they're facing impossible odds, but they keep fighting anyway. They embody that spirit of rebellion, the refusal to give up on hope even in the face of darkness.
Well, that about wraps it up for our deep dive into the world of vampires. We've covered a lot of ground, from ancient bloodlines to secret societies to the rebels who challenge it all. It's a fascinating world, full of intrigue and danger.
And it makes you think, what other secrets are lurking out there in the shadows? What other stories are waiting to be told?
That's something for you listeners to ponder. Remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction, and sometimes it's a lot more terrifying. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.